Hey guys, how's it going? This is going to be my bullet journal setup video. I'm going to link this notebook down in the description. I got it off Amazon. I really like this one. It is grid lined, which I like because it's a little more structure than the dots, but not as limiting as the lines. And I think the cover is very nice. It's plain, it's a good thickness, it lies flat. Overall, I really like this journal. So let's just get started. I did draw all this out in pencil first, so I already kind of have a bit of a baseline to work with. So I'm going to use some washi tape and get it on my index page. I kind of like a simple index page. That's what worked well for me last time. So I just had washi tape and the word index. Then I'm just making a line so that I can write the page number and then what is on that page. Really nothing fancy for this one. And then I'm going to put some washi tape on the back side too. I was gonna do the third page as well, but I don't know how much I'm gonna stick with this, so I decided to wait. And then I decided just to trim it up a little bit. This is one of the few things that I had done beforehand. It's just a little flip out calendar for the last 6 months of the year. I hate doing calendars, they're so annoying, but it works out pretty good. So I'm just putting some tape and trying desperately to get it as straight as I can. And that way this can flip out and just have a calendar whenever I want one. Again, not getting it straight, but ta-da, it worked. Then this page is going to be for my bullet journal ideas. I'm going to leave this page fairly blank because I might want to doodle some of these ideas and I didn't want to limit my space. And as always, erasing my pencil marks. And now is going to be one of the pages that I really liked my last bullet journal. It is going to be my last year's kind of review doodly type thing. First, I adopted Comet. Also, the angle abruptly changed because I knocked over all of my markers and had to pick them up, move the desk, etc. It was a mess. But now I'm drawing a little graduation cap from when I finished therapy. I was always saying that I was graduating therapy because it just sounded cooler that way. I'm also drawing a little YouTube icon, play button, whatever you want to call it, because this is the year that I started YouTube. Then I drew a not that well drawn medical cross to have my medical leave and the physio that I did. Then I have a little bottle of pills here because I finally found the right medication for me, and honestly that was huge. I take daily medication for a couple things. I'll probably talk about it someday, but I finally found meds that worked for me and I was so... And finally, the outline of Alberta. My brother moved to Calgary and it has been very rough not having him around. My brother and I are super close. You may have noticed by the way that I wrote his nickname and my thumb that I have his nickname tattooed on my thumb, and he has a matching one with my nickname, because we're close like that. Then I decided to color it in with markers. I don't have any specific fancy schmancy journaling supplies, I guess. I have the markers that you see up there that I got at the dollar store. I have Crayola, I think they're Pipsqueaks, the short little ones that I've had for ever. And then my pencil crayons are just ones that I've kind of collected through life. Honestly, a lot of them are from 10 years ago in school when we used to have them on our school lists. But yeah, nothing fancy, just regular old pens, pencil crayons, etc. Then I decided I want a little bit more color on this page, so I'm just grabbing some pencil crayons. Also, yes, I keep shaking the camera because I didn't realize that the tripod was leaning against the desk, so when I moved it, it was shaking quite a bit, but I think I realized that eventually and move it. I hope. Anyways, here I go, just adding a little more color. I like having this pop of color because, I don't know, it just brings something extra fun to this page, and that's what I like. I like looking back on the last year with fun memories, even though not all of this is fun. Like my brother moving away and having to go on medical leave, and it wasn't great, but as long as I can make it happy, then that's all I need. Also, you'll notice I have a scrap of paper in the corner. That's just from when I was doing my calendar flip out, and that's just so I can test the colors before I see them. Then I have my finance page. I love finances. I am such a finance nerd. I'm not doing too many like super cool fonts. I just have kind of wide blockish letters for this one. And what I'm doing is making a lot more room than I had last year. I found that was my biggest downfall last year with my finance tracker, is it was all too squished, and I didn't like it. I don't know. Your bullet journal doesn't have to be pretty, but if I'm unhappy with it, I'm not going to want to go back to those spreads and use them. So there's a bit of a balance. Anyway, I have all of my rows and columns here. I'm doing one for every month of the year. Even though I'm doing this at the end of June, I still want to have all the months so I could see it all at a glance. And then I'm going to have the amount that I started the month with, how much I spent on bills total, and then I also have it split up with my mortgage, my hydro, which for anyone who's not Canadian, your hydro bill is your electrical bill, and then I have other bills. This is mostly, well, hydro is because I want to see how it is throughout the year because it changes every month, and mortgage because at the end of the year I want to see how much I paid altogether. I do my mortgage every other week, not every month. It helps me pay it off a little bit faster, and I don't know, I just wanted to see it. I thought that'd be cool. And then I have food, necessary, social, unnecessary, other, and then the total, and then how much I was paid, other income, and then that total, and then plus or minus, and how much I'm ending with. And then you're seeing in the corner here, I'm writing down all of my monthly bills and how much they all come up to. I was gonna censor it out, but honestly you can't see it well enough, and it's fine. I like having this one because it helps me just get to know what my habits are for spending. You know, I really think that the number one tip for saving money is to be aware, hi Spock, is to be aware of your spending. You know, there's so many times that, hello Spock, that you don't even know how much you're spending or how much you're spending on what. And just seeing it all in and out really, really helps me. Then I am here erasing my pencil lines, always erasing pencil lines and shaking the heck out of the camera. Gonna get rid of all those eraser bits. And then I wanted to have some sort of like divide, but not too much. I didn't want to do a line between every single category because I thought that that would make it a little bit cluttered. So I just have a couple that should be separate, like the totals and my start and my end, because I found that would make it easier to read without looking cluttered. There's just so many ways you can do a finance tracker that I had a hard time deciding, but I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Next is a page that I loved in my last bullet journal, but I wanted to condense it and change it around. I'm doing this in backwards order because, as you'll notice, I'm left-handed and sometimes things get smudgy when I write in a normal left-to-right way. So that's why sometimes I write things backwards, and again I traced all this out in pencil, so that helps. These are my weekly chores. I need structure in my life. I'm a very structured person if you somehow couldn't tell. So I have my chores list that's going to be on the left, and the right page is weekly. So I'm going to be writing all of the chores I can think of for the whole house on the chores list. Weekly is the things that obviously have to be done every week. So like for Monday, I like to have the floors done. For Tuesday night is garbage night, so it's, things like the litter box and the rabbit cage, etc. There's really not much to say about this. I mean, you'll see it as I write it down. But I don't know. I wanted to have it here written down so it's easier to see, easier to remember. I've had this kind of set schedule for a while now, so I really don't need the reminder. It's just satisfying seeing it written down, and I don't know, makes me feel nice and organized and ready to tackle my week and have a wonderfully clean house, which makes me feel so relaxed. I know some people hate cleaning and chores and it just sounds boring, but honestly, it's just so relaxing to me to have a clean house. I am one of those people that gets really stressed out with clutter, and yeah, for me, self-care is cleaning my house, as lame as that sounds, but it works for me. Also, I was going to write all the chores on this, but I didn't end up filming it because I wanted to write it out in like Microsoft Word first, so I could have it all there, get the order done, move things around, etc. I would like to mention that at the end of this video, I am going to show like a flip through of everything finished because there are some stickers that I want to put in. I just didn't want to go through all of my stickers while coloring on camera. It was just going to be a big mess. And also that way I would have time to kind of stop and think about some things. So I will be doing that. Stay tuned to the end to see everything finalized, but here's the setup portion of it. And now I'm just writing out what those things are. I'm just using normal font. I did like a blocky font again for the days of the week, but this is just my normal writing because I wanted it to just, I don't know, look normal. And I'm just using a plain black Bic pen. Again, nothing fancy. Also, yes, that's a McDonald's ruler if you haven't seen it. I found it with my like old elementary school stuff, and it's just a really nice size, and it's the perfect like bendiness. So yeah. And then very carefully erasing because I don't want to smudge that pen, but I also didn't want to wait too long, so you know, that balance. And then this page I am super excited about. This is one that, if you saw my last bullet journal video, I loved tracking my book stats, but I didn't like the way that it was done in my last bullet journal. This one, I think, first of all, is going to look so much better, but I like the way that it's organized more. So I'm doing some like faux calligraphy. It's really just cursive writing with a little bit of shading in it, but whatever, it looks fun. And again, these are going to be my book stats. So what I'm drawing here are little like bulletin pins. Those are little thumbtacks, not thumbtacks, what are they called? Thumbnails? Thumbtacks are the little ones. Push pins. Yes, little notes on push pins and books. So what I'm going to do with the little note cards is each of them is going to be assigned a month and how many books I read that month. And then each book is going to be tracking something different. So this one that I just finished here, you'll see it's a bunch of years, and it's to track the years that all the books that I read were published in. There's Spock again. This one here is going to be how long the books that I read were. I have under 100 pages, 101 to 250, 251 to 500, and 500 plus. Then the next book is going to be what type of book it was. So like physical book, ebook, audiobook, etc. Because now that I'm listening to more audiobooks, I kind of want to know, how many I listen to. And I just like seeing them because I love stats, and as many things as I can track, that's how many I will track. Then this one here is going to be how I rated the books. I just wanted to see, I guess, how successful my reading year was based off how much I enjoyed the books I was reading. I did leave one blank book because, I don't know, just in case I think of something later on. I should have made it bigger. I did make it kind of small, so I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that, but oh well. And then I'm just adding a little bit of drop shadows to the little pin board things. I can't remember what I wanted to call them. And then this is going to be for standalones, duologies, and series. I was gonna put trilogies, but I don't know. I think that those three are good enough. And that way I just want to know. I did leave more room for series because, I read a lot of fantasy, and fantasy is usually series. And then you'll see in the top corner there, I put total. I should have probably put that book a little bit smaller, but that's okay. And then I have a section for male or female authors, and then either non-binary, non-specified, or anthologies are also going to go in that third category, like things with multiple authors. Then here I'm going to have my genres, leaving a little extra room for fantasy because I know I will mostly be reading fantasy. Obviously I don't have every category, but I kind of picked like the genres that I read most often, and then a couple more generic ones to, catch the rest. And then finally, this last one is for new reads or rereads. I don't tend to reread books very often, but I don't know, lately I've been kind of in the mood for some of them, so we'll see. And then here I'm writing down which months each of these little Post-it notes is going to be for. I think every time I've said these, I've called them something different. Oh well. And then going in and erasing my pencil and shaking the camera because I'm a professional. In my defense, this is my first bullet journal video and I'm still learning, but just if you get motion sickness, I'm really sorry. I have learned from my mistake. It won't happen again. Yeah. I really like the way this page turned out, but I don't know. It was just a little bit too black and white for me. I was gonna color them in, but then I thought that would be a bit hard to write in, so I just kind of did the outline of all of the different books. I thought that would be a good like pop of color, but it wouldn't get in my way, I guess. And then I'm coloring in all the little push pins in red because, I don't know, push pins, I just own a lot of red ones, so I always associate them with the color red. Is that just me? I'm honestly really excited to use this page, and I think that's one of the great things with, you know, the pretty spreads for bullet journals, is it makes me excited to use it, so it makes me excited, in this case, to read. Not that I wasn't excited to read anyways, but I don't know. It's that little extra push of motivation for when I'm in a slump that's been really, really helpful, I think. Also, it was kind of hard to pick like which colors that wouldn't like clash, but I think I did a good job. I'm really happy with that one and how it turned out. This is one of the other few things that I prepared in advance. You'll see in the top corners I put my little July and August calendar, and it's kind of hard to tell with this lighting, but I did a what's it called? Dutch window? Dutch door? Dutch window. The thing where I cut out a part of it. So this is going to be my new kind of monthly hub page, and then when I turn the page, I'll still be able to see the two calendars. I was going to leave room for a weekly spread, but honestly, I'm still so iffy with weekly spreads that I just didn't. Nothing fancy here for font either, just normal cursive handwriting. I did decide that I'm going to stick to maybe certain color themes just for these pages. I don't like doing it too much because I don't like limiting myself, but yeah. Also, I'm not going to be writing out my steps and goals and stuff right now because I want to take a little bit more time to think of it, and yeah. You'll see in my flip through that I have filled them out by now, but I'm not going to do it while I'm filming. You'll see from my last flip through video that I changed up my monthly spread quite a bit. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like this, but I really kind of like the way this turned out. I like having things in boxes, and I think that I was tracking too many habits last time. So this time I'm doing it differently, as you'll see in a second. On the one that I'm filling out right now, I have what's basically coming up. So I'm going to be coloring in little circles on the calendar and then coloring them in where I wrote them. And here's my habit tracker. I wanted to try something different. I don't know, I kind of got bored of how I did it last year because I had almost the exact same habit tracker every time. So this one is kind of inspired by when I did that, I think it was my routine spread, was it? I don't remember. But since July has 31 months, I have a box. It's, well, 16 rows, so the last one's blank, but that's okay. And I'm just going to pick my top couple habits because I found that having too many habits just is kind of overwhelming for me. And sometimes I just want to put like easier habits just so I have something to cross off, but if I know I'm going to do it every day anyways, I don't know, I just want to focus differently this coming year, or at least this coming month. Who knows, maybe I'll change my mind completely by the end of the month. But yeah, I'm just numbering 1 through 31. This is so tedious, and I think that's one of the things that I kind of struggle with bullet journaling, is that it is really tedious sometimes. That's why last year I ended up switching to stickers after, I think, 3 or 4 months. I might go back to that this year, but I don't know, because I haven't bullet journaled in a while, I kind of wanted to do it by hand until I got to the calendars and then regretted my decision, but oh well. And also in this, I'm not writing down which habits I'm tracking because I wanted to take a little more time to think about it. But you'll see that when I do my final flip through at the end. And I really liked how last time I did like 30 to 31 tiny little doodles for my mood tracker, but I don't know, I decided to be kind of simple this month because first of all, it's tedious. And second of all, I don't want to say my moods aren't as important, but my moods have been a lot more stable lately. Like, I've been doing really good as far as mental health goes, and my moods have kind of, I don't know, evened out, I guess. Going back to what you saw at the beginning, where I found meds that worked for me, that obviously has a huge part in it, and I don't know, I wanted to keep my mood tracker just because I find it important to see, but I didn't want to make it too much. Also, I love having my mood tracker and my habit tracker on the same page because I like seeing how they correspond. Like, if I have a day that I'm feeling kind of meh, it usually means that my habits weren't done because they kind of go hand in hand. So I like being able to see them there like that. And I don't know, it made sense to have them both on the same page and smaller, but who knows, maybe I'll change my mind in a month. Now I'm just going in and carefully erasing everything, trying not to smudge anything because that is the worst, and I'm not a patient enough person, so I tend to smudge things more often than I'd like. And now I'm just coming in with some markers, and I'm just going to basically color in the day and where it corresponds. I like that this is just a little pop of color because everything's kind of monochromatic. And now we have the flip through. So I did the same thing as last time with my contact information on the front page, which is blurred out. Did my index, which I've actually started using. I thought it turned out pretty good. Then I have my bullet journal ideas and a little journal sticker. There's my flip out calendar, which honestly I'm pretty happy with. I think it's like that perfect amount of simplicity, but it really works, and I think it's a good distance out, if that makes sense. Maybe I'll decorate that page later, but for now, I like it. Then I have my 2018 page. I'm going to be putting some journaling on the next page. Here are my finances, some stickers. I wrote out all of my chores and put little chore stickers, which I love. This one I actually filled out, and dang, it made me feel good. Then I have the last time and then just a bunch of different categories. Then I added some stickers. I wrote down which habits I wanted and my goals and mini goals. There is my time log and my gratitude log. I, first of all, love that G in that gratitude. Like, that's a nice G. And then the last thing I did was this page, just kind of dividing up the page and marking down, the halfway point where I divided into thirds, etc. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button to let me know, and feel free to subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, usually reading or writing related. I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!